Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitator and coach Betsy McLaughlin as she delves into different areas of your life to get unstuck and create the life that is truly possible for you. Betsy has changed her life by utilizing the tools and techniques she is sharing with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. I am Betsy McLaughlin, your host for this time together, and I am really happy to introduce you all to my friend Theresa Finnigan. So first and foremost, welcome to the show, Theresa.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Excuse me. So as you all can hear, she's got a beautiful accent. And where are you in the world?
I'm in England. I live in the north of England in a place called Northumberland, which is very beautiful. And it's where they filmed Harry Potter. So everybody knows the scenes from Harry Potter. So I live in Harry Potter land.
You live in Harry Potter land. I never knew that. How fun is that? Oh my gosh, when those books first came out, my son was, well, and he still is, a voracious reader. And when they first came out, like, he stayed up all night and would go through an entire book. And it was just, he loved those books and those movies and stories so much. So how fun is that?
It's awesome. And I mean, the way that she creates her books and the way she created her business and her life, like J.K. Rowling, such an inspiration to me, with the way that she's created everything and the energy that she is with her business. And Harry Potter is a business. It's a brand. It's her brand. And it's phenomenal what she's done with it and where she's taken her life.
It truly is. It truly is. And that's a great segue into our topic today. Great job, Theresa. And what are we talking about today? We are talking about the subject and the topic is dancing with the energy of your business. And yeah, that's like, ooh, so yummy. So what if you were to dance with your business? What if you actually had an energetic dance that flows, it expands, it invites a multitude of creative energies to all play with your business, your life, what you desire to create in the world? So that's what we're going to be exploring today with the beautiful Theresa. And just a little teeny bit about Theresa. She, as she already said, she lives in the UK, and she is an empowerment coach, and she's also an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And she's a mom. She's a very busy lady, and she knows that there isn't one size fits all. There's not one solution that fits all. And I would love to actually start the conversation from that. So what does this mean, for you, Theresa, dancing with the energy of your business? What is that for you?
Well, for me, dancing with the energy of my business, it actually comes from the juggling of my 4 children, having a husband, having a business, and trying to juggle and manage all of those things, but do it with a sense of ease and elegance that has everybody happy. So, you know, as a mum, that's what everybody wants. You want your family happy.
Right.
And when I was employed in a traditional proper job, I found that I missed a lot. I worked a lot of Christmases. I missed birthdays. And I asked to create a life that would empower me, empower other people, and bring a sense of space, peace, and harmony to my family. And that whole dancing with the molecules of my business is the dance that I lead of creation every day, asking questions, taking time out and asking where my energy is required. And there isn't a linear answer to this dancing with the energy. It's that space of being willing to play with your business. So Simone Milasas has got a quote in her Joy of Business book that says, "What is infinite space? It's the space you create in your reality when there is no conclusion, no limitation, and no exceptions. Only question, demand, and choice." And I guess if you had to define what that molecular dance of business is, it's that. It's no limitation and being able to tap into the energy of what's required in because your business is your life is your business. It all contributes to each other. And so as a mum of 4 and as a wife, and I've got a dog and a rabbit and a hamster and a guinea pig, so it's like it's crazy town in my house. So where is my energy required? And yeah.
So you have 4 kids, you have 4 animals, a husband. You're, as you said, you're juggling it all and doing your best to not go into cuckoo insane land.
I think that's definitely it. It's because when I say I'm juggling it all, that's what this reality's perception of what I'm doing is. It's like, how do you manage that? How do you cope with everything? Oh, that must be so difficult. You must be so stressed. And actually, there's a great deal of space and a level of beauty and elegance to the creation of everything, my life and my business and my family, because none of it's structured, and I'm willing to stay in the question.
Well, and so on that piece where your life is not structured, first I would like to ask you, did you used to function from a more structured point of view?
Absolutely, I did. I was employed, and I grew up very much being a people pleaser. So even though I always had a sense there was something else, I felt very trapped, but aimed to keep everybody happy. So I did function from a more linear space because I didn't realize that actually I could choose something different. You know, I left school and my parents expected me to work in their business. And then I met my husband and became a mum. And it was expected when the child's 3, you will go back to work. And, you know, it was, you're going to do this and your life's laid out for you. And I changed jobs so many times. And it was because I got bored, because I required that energetic molecular dance was missing. And when you take Theresa's dancing shoes off and make her sit in the corner, she doesn't like it. So I fought a lot against the limitations and the structure that was put in place, and finding the tools of access consciousness and adding those to the other changes that I'd already started to implement opened the door to a whole new world of just absolute beauty and possibilities. So that's definitely where I now function from, and the space that I like to be with my business.
Wow. So allowing yourself to remove the confines of this, so much structure and order and everything, what has that actually created? So you said it's given you peace and some space. Is there anything else that you get it has contributed to your life and for your family?
Oh my goodness, yes, so many things. So it's expanded my horizons with traveling. My travel in my structured reality was limited to 2 weeks once a year when you go on holiday. And I used to live my whole life waiting for this 2 weeks where I could have some, and now I travel, well, prior to COVID, I was traveling a lot. I started the year and I went to Rome, then I went to Brazil, then I was in Ireland. And last year I traveled so many places, and being able to have the freedom of choice that comes from the decisions that I've made, and to keep choosing. So, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to travel down to the south of England and I'm going to do a class, or I'll go to the very north of England and then I'll fly away somewhere and facilitate a class or attend a class. And that has empowered my children, especially my daughter, to see what is possible when you start to choose for you. And choosing what works for me does not mean that I'm being selfish. It does not mean that I'm not putting my family or my children's needs first, because they're at the forefront of everything that I do. And that energetic dance means staying connected to them, with them, wherever I may be. So I'm never really away. I'm always still tapped into their universes and playing with the molecules that they be. So doing what I do and making those choices has definitely opened the door to more travel. It's allowed me to connect to people, and I love people and I like to talk. So it connected me to people all across the world that I would have never been with before. And being able to share and connect and create, like co-creating with them, co-creating with you, it's such a gift and allows that energetic dance to expand. So you're inviting more to the party. There's no limitation to it. It's a constant flow of, and what else is truly possible? Where else can I be? What else can I be? What can I add to this? And being willing, I guess that one of the key things with it is actually being willing to lose it all and start again. And that's a huge thing. It freaks some people out. And for me, it's like, okay, so if I'm willing to lose it all, if I'm willing to change it all, what else can I add? What else is possible with my business and with my life and family?
Well, that piece to the conversation of being willing to lose it all doesn't mean that you actually have to. And I had, and I still sometimes can have a little bit of a tough time going to wanting to fight against that so much. And it's really being the willingness to lose it so that other possibilities can actually appear versus there's no way, I have to hold on to everything. And as I've learned, when I'm trying to hold on to something really tightly, it starts to suffocate it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as an example of that, we're currently still in the midst of social isolation and lockdown and COVID restrictions and what have you. So I actually have a business premises, a holistic therapy center. And I haven't been able to be there since March because I can't see clients one-on-one because they've all stopped working. And I'm still paying my rent for my business premises and holding on to it. And I've been paying that rent since March, and I'm not receiving any income from it. So logically, you would think, okay, it's time to let it go. I don't actually know when I'm going to be able to do hands-on treatments for people, so let it go. And I've been so reluctant to let my business go, and I've been holding on to it tightly, saying I'm not going to lose my baby. It was the first physical aspect of my business. I really want to hold on to this, and I've been holding on to it. And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, okay, so if I was willing to let it go, if I giving my lease back, if I stop the business, what's it going to create? Am I willing to let it go? And I was like, yes, okay, I'm willing to lose it. I'm willing to let it go. And what showed up since then is revenue streams have come in from completely different places that I wasn't expecting that will now allow me to keep paying my rent so I can keep it. So in that willingness to say, yeah, what else can I receive from if I let that go? What greater than what I'm already considering can show up for me? What else, or even better than having a holistic therapy center? What else is possible? And so I made my mind up. Right, okay, I'm willing to let it go, and then magic started to happen. And so you invite that possibility of other things to come and play with you without losing. Actually, you've got to have that energy of being willing to, but not, I haven't lost it.
That is beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing that piece with us. And we're on our first break, everybody. We'll be back before you miss us too much. Thanks for listening to Imperfect Brilliance.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Imperfect Brilliance, where we are having a wonderful conversation today about dancing with the energy of your life and your business, and what does that even mean? What does it look like? So Theresa has shared some wonderful examples of how she's been willing to change things up in her life that have created more ease and less stress. And I know for me as well, using these amazing tools and questions that we play with literally every day, that we have been fortunate enough to discover through the body of work, Access Consciousness, and it certainly has transformed my entire life, and I have way more joy, way more joy, way more. My life is just so much easier. It's nowhere near as stressful when things, and I'm doing air quotes since you guys can't see me right now, when things happen to me, I have now these beautiful an arsenal of tools that I can open this huge chest and say, I wonder what will work here. Is it a tool? Is it a question? Is it an energetic process? We also do a lot of body work, and we do energetic work. So it's like you know, and you can mix and match, and there's no one thing for any situation. And I'm so grateful for that. I truly am. And with the conversation even of dancing with the energy, I never had those kind of conversations before. Like, what are you talking about? So I would actually even like to invite you for a moment, Theresa, if somebody's listening and they are kind of in that place of, what do you mean dancing with the energy? How would you best try to describe that?
Okay, so your business is an entity of its own. So have you ever considered going on a date with your business, or going on a date with your bank account, looking at your finances? And you can apply these tools to all different kinds of things. And I can hear everybody going, she's crazy. How do you take your business on a date? And it's literally like, speak to your business. Hey, business, like, what can we create together today? Are you willing to make me money? Are you willing to pull in the customers, the clients, whatever it is that, the sales, whatever your business is, and just sitting down and being very, very present, looking at the business or looking at your bank account and playing energetically with what else is possible. So, business, what can I contribute to you today? Where is my attention required? I'm sure I'm not the only one that has a to-do list that should be written on a toilet roll, because it goes on and on and on and on. And taking a look at my to-do list and going, okay, so where is my attention required to generate and create the business? And being tapped into the future that you desire to be creating. So sit down with a cup of coffee or a glass of champagne or whatever it is that you like to sit down with, and sit down and be present with your business. So, okay, if we are creating this together as a co-creation, me and my business, what would we like our life to be like in 5 years' time? What can the business generate and create? what do I have to be and do to actualize this? So actually talking to it. Where's my attention required? Who can I talk to today? Who can I contact? But also, I guess the biggest difference, more than anything else, is have fun with your business. So this molecular dance of energetics with your business is about having fun. So I know when I did my previous job, when I was a manager and worked in private healthcare, the fun had gone from my joy in life had gone. It was sucking me dry. And I would go to work and the enthusiasm that was there at the beginning had ebbed away. So with my business, it's like, how much fun can we have today? How much crazy chaos can we instill into this? Yesterday I had this sudden burst of inspiration, and I was working with my business until 2 a.m. this morning, and I went to bed and my husband's like, what have you been doing? And I said, I was inspired. He went, oh, that's enough said then. So, and I just kept working because it was fun. That makes no logical sense when you're a mum and you've got to get up at 6 a.m. to be working on your business till 2. But I woke up and I'm so enthused and excited and empowered. There's no room for tiredness. It's like, what, tired? What's that? It's like, how much more fun can I have today? What else is possible?
And when you were in that energy in that space, time goes by so fast. You are in the moment.
Yeah.
You're not, I had a job a couple of jobs where I was miserable, and I would, it's like, I cannot believe it's only 10 o'clock, and it feels like you've been there all day long. Mm-hmm. And that, as you said, so perfectly, you feel like you're being sucked dry. It's just like, oh my God. And it totally is. And so when you are in that, you may not be able to actually just leave that job. So there's a lot of questions you could even ask to change things. So I actually would like to play with that a little bit, Theresa. And I really wish that I had, when I was in that job, in that place, boy, oh boy, if I had had these questions and tools and awareness that there was something else I could have been choosing and asking at that time, again, how much easier it would have made my life. So let's say somebody's listening and they are in a job where they dread getting up in the morning. I've shared this on the show before, where I would wake up and be like, okay, can I call in sick today? When was the last time I called in sick? What excuse did I use? And, that is not a fun place to actually be from. And I'm like, no, I have to go. I called in sick a couple weeks ago, and I don't have any sick leave or whatever it was, or I'm going to take a mental health day, and just having that as what my frame of reference was. Oh man, even just talking about it, I'm getting like, oh, right. So everything that is bringing up, let's change the energy. And how do we do that? So we can do that by asking questions. So if somebody is in that place right now and they feel like they have no choice, they're stuck where they are, they're miserable, they're in a dead-end job, what are some of the questions and the things that they could start to experiment with that could possibly contribute or give them ideas for something else they could explore?
Well, one of the first things I would say is if somebody's really stuck in their life and they are looking for that change, well, there's two things. There's a million things. Like, where do I start?
I know, right?
If you're not with somebody or near somebody where you can go and get your bars run, because if you get your bars run, which are 32 points on the head, having your bars run can literally give you the clarity and space that you require to start looking at a different possibility. So highly, highly recommend, if you can get your bars run, go and get your bars run. If not, then I would also highly recommend that you purchase Dr. Dane Heer's book, Being You, Changing the World. Now, I wish somebody had given me that book as a teenager.
Oh.
It's
Such
really
a wonderful book, and it is. And his name is spelled. His last name is Heer. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I just wanted to add this piece. It is a wonderful book, Being You, Changing the World, and it's in a lot of different languages. It's also on audio. You can get it on Amazon, and all kinds. There's even the free first chapter is read by Dr. Dane, and you can also find out way more about him. Dr. Dane Heer, and it's DAINHEER. Okay, continue, Theresa.
Well, that book actually contains a lot of the introductory it's a misconception to call them an introductory tool, because the stuff that's in there actually, it gives you an introduction to access consciousness, but the tools change your life dynamically if you use them. So if you're stuck and you're not sure what else to do, one of the questions that you can ask is, what else is possible that you've not seen here? What else is possible that you're unaware of? And Access Consciousness also has a mantra. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. So in saying that, you can be asking energetically that the Access mantra is like the dance of the molecular dance with your life and business. So you're asking for all of life to come to you with ease, with joy, and with glory. So that's everything, not only the good stuff, but the icky, sticky stuff too. So when that shows up, how much more ease can you have with it? How much faster can it move and leave your life so it flows through, rather than keeping you stuck in the quagmire of indecision, of sadness, of misery, and not choosing greater for you? So, I mean, they're possibly some of the Access Consciousness tools that I would recommend for somebody that's looking for that change. But as well, what do you know? Because if you make the demand for something greater to show up in your life, to have the reality that you desired, that you think is possible but you can't see, in making that demand, like, I am ready to have this now, please, universe, what can we do to actualize this with total ease, and be talking to the energy of your life? So have a conversation with yourself. Like, what is it that I need to be doing different here? Who can I speak to change my job? Is it that you need to go and take an evening class or an online class to do something else? Is it actually that you can speak to your employer and they could move you to a different department or give you a pay rise? If you don't ask a question, you're never going to know. So ask many, many, many questions. Like, look at the whole of your business and your life and asking, so, okay, this is really sad, and what can I do to change this now?
And so in asking questions, the other piece that I wanted to add to what you've been saying too is that you don't have to have the answer. Don't have, right? You don't have to put your tool belt on and fix the problem. What asking the question does is it actually invites other possibilities. And it could be one possibility, it could be 7,000 million possibilities, and we don't know. And we're totally willing to play. And that's part of it. Experiment. Have no point of view about what shows up or doesn't show up. Be willing to keep asking questions. And in that, again, we talked about the willingness earlier. So in the willingness to ask questions, have no idea what's going to show up, how it's going to show up, who's going to show up, a timeline, none of that, which, when you're a control freak, and I'm raising both of my hands, you guys, I am, I'm maybe a semi-reformed control freak. I can't say I'm completely, yes, I still have things that I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. But I'm way better than I used to be. And so in being willing to give up what I think everything has to be like, it has, again, opened up. It's like an beautiful engraved invitation on a silver platter to the universe that's saying, you're invited. You are invited to contribute to me. I don't have to do it all myself, and I'm actually willing to co-create with you.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Who said that?
You said that. That's amazing. And I know when I teach classes sometimes, and people say, well, yeah, you're asking a question, and it's sometimes you ask a question, like you say, with a conclusion attached to it. So it's like, people would say to me, oh, I want to give up my job and I want lots of money. And I go, so how are you going to achieve that? So you ask them a question, like, what is possible for this? And they say, well, I need to win the lottery. Or somebody needs to die and leave me lots of money, and then I'll be able to do everything. So it was, I would say to people, like, if you ask, it's the way you ask your questions. So if you're saying, like, oh, yes, I'm happy in my job and money flows easily to me, because you're trying to create the life that you've been reading about in books and you want, but the energy that you're saying doesn't match the words, then when you say the statement that I just said before, it's a statement, it isn't a question. If you're saying, what would it take for me to have a job that contributes to my life and living and for money to flow easily to me, that's a question with an open-ended possibility that can show up from anywhere, not just from somebody leaving you an inheritance or winning the lottery, or, it's in that is asking a question with no point of view is that, again, molecular dance.
Wonderful. Oh, gosh, Theresa, thank you so much. We've got our second break here, and we'll be sharing more tips and questions and conversation in just a couple more minutes. Stay tuned, you guys. Thank you so much.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On. My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking you questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Theresa Finnigan is our guest today on Imperfect, Brilliance, and we're dancing with the energy of this conversation. We're talking about dancing with the energy of your business. And Theresa, I just had an echo for a second. Tell everybody how they could reach you if they would like to find out more about you, where your website and maybe your email address.
Well, my website is hopefully going to be up and live and running over the next week. So my website address will be www.theresafinnigan.com. I'm also on the Access Consciousness website where you can see classes and things as Theresa Finnigan. And you can find me as Theresa Finnigan on Facebook too. And if you wish to email me and ask me a question, which please do, because I love to chat to people. And if you've got a question I'd like to assist, you can email me at theresafinnigan@icloud.com.
Wonderful. Thank you. And her name, in case anybody is wondering, is TheresaFinnegan. So, and if you have any problem finding her, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to hook you guys up. And if anybody's looking for me, my website is creatingyumminess.com. And I, too, have a lot of my classes listed there, and then some more are also listed on the Access Consciousness website. Theresa and I are both on Facebook and Instagram, and we also, what was I going to say? I totally just went out of my head. And then my email is accessbetsy, BETSY, @gmail.com. So lots of ways to find us. And we, again, are talking today about dancing with the energies. And for me, it's such a joyful conversation. And I wonder, Theresa, how does what you have chosen and what you've changed in your life, how does that also, what has that done for your children and your husband?
Well, that's kind of an interesting question. My husband, he doesn't understand anything that I do. He's a very practical man. He likes to play with his wood and do woodwork. And he's like, that's what you turn on when you put the heating on. What are you talking about, woman? And yet at the same time, he is incredibly supportive of everything that I do. And he really empowered me to go for it, to choose what was working for me, because he could see the more I chose what was working for me, the more fun I had, the more ease I had with my life, my living, our relationship, everything. And so it's been such a gift. He is such a gift. And as for my children, it's so interesting to see how they use the tools of Access Consciousness without actually knowing that they're using the tools. They just pick it up because they're around me. And seeing their mum happy and being able to travel and create and that, I guess, I mean, my daughter said to me recently that I was the happiest mum that she knows, because when she goes to all her friends' houses, all her friends' mums shout. And I said,
oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, but I shout. And she said, no, but you don't. She said, not like they do. She said, and you're so amazing. And you worked for yourself and you created all of this stuff. And she's just so empowered by it all. So who knows what gift that can be for them in the future, should they choose to create something of their own. In fact, recently, just last week, she came to me and said her and a friend of hers wanted to set up in business on their own. My daughter's 12 and her friend's 12. And I said, awesome. So what can you be to create this? And she was like, you're not cross. You think it's a good idea. And I said, if you want to create the money and you want to have the things that you're asking for, go for it. If it's fun for you, I've got your back. And she's so excited by it. And her and her friend are creating this little business plan. And I know for me personally, if I'd have gone to my mum, age 12, she'd have told me not to be so stupid. She would have been, children can't have a business. Children can't create. Children don't do that. Children should be seen and not heard. And so I guess being the way that I am, I would like to think it inspires them. And it also provides us with a lot of opportunities to have a lot of quality family time together. So even though I have my business premises, I also work a lot from home. And so I'm here. I'm able to be present with all of their choices and creations that they're doing and attend school stuff and all that kind of magical mum stuff that goes by in the flash of an eyelid if you're not careful. So I get to literally, honestly, it's like I've got the best of all worlds. I'm creating a life I love. I've got a business that brings me so much joy and contributes to other people. And I'm here with my children and my husband. And it's that magical molecular dance where everything contributes to each other and allows for a greater possibility to show up. And I keep asking for more. I'm choosing greater constantly. There's no stagnation in any of it. And so I'm always willing to look at a different possibility and what else can I learn? What else can I create? And it's beautiful. It's so much fun.
Wow. And isn't that what we all desire for our lives? To have fun and to be joyful and for time for you to actually create the life that you would like to live. And so we had started sharing questions. If somebody for instance is in a job they don't like, what else are there other questions that people could ask, whether it's for their job or they're looking at a relationship that they're unhappy in, or any of these questions that we contribute to you all really could be used in any aspect. We might be kind of specifically talking about business today, but you can apply it wherever if you would like to. And so one of the questions you had shared, and it's one of my favorites as well, Theresa, is, what else is possible beyond anything I can even imagine? Because again, I go to my head a lot and I go to trying to control the outcome. So I might, and especially when I first was playing with these different way of being, these different, I didn't I wasn't raised with asking questions, and actually was told to stop asking questions. Why do I ask so many questions? Right. So I got shut down, like, a lot of kids, how many of us, whether we have our own children or we hear children who are always going, why is the grass green? Why is the sky blue? Why? In that amazing curiosity that children have, and then we start shutting it down, right?
I love, it's so funny because I've just recently had a speciality class approved with Access Consciousness, and my class is called Curious, and it's literally stems from everything that you've just said. So as a child, like I said before, sit down, children are seen and not heard, you don't ask questions. And then when I was that space of, why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Like, what else can I ask constantly? And it was like, will you be quiet? You don't need to know that. I'll tell you when you're older. Children don't need to know those kind of things. But I had to, looking back, I had an awareness of things. And it was that whole, oh, why are you upset? I'm not upset. And so you make yourself wrong and think you don't know, when in actual fact, you are super, super aware. And when you're willing to acknowledge that awareness and include that in the creation of your life and business, and be curious, so keep asking those questions now. You are not wrong if you ask a question. Like, seriously, you are not wrong. Like, keep asking them and be curious. Be that energetic, curious cat that's looking for so much more. And so, like my whole curious class is like, what are you curious about? And if you were to engage in that curiosity, that joyful playfulness that a child has, that curiosity is from a sense of engagement and play with everything. Oh, what's under that rock? Oh, what does a butterfly feel like? Oh, what does a flower taste like? You want to play and taste and touch and have all of those senses stimulated. But then you're like, oh, you're wrong to eat dirt, and you don't touch butterflies, and you don't. So you stop doing all of those crazy things that you do as a child. If you're willing to play and invite that joy of curiosity back into your life, that it just creates so much happiness and space. It's allowing everything to contribute to you, and for that contribution to flow back from you to them. There's a beautiful energy out there underneath all of this that, if you're willing to go out and ask questions and play, can contribute to your life, your living, your relationships. Like you say, this conversation, even though we're talking about business, it's so much more, and it applies in all areas of your life.
So wonderful. And so what else is possible? What else is possible beyond anything I can even imagine? That gets me out of my headspace. And another question I love to ask, especially when I'm feeling frustrated or like I'm hitting a brick wall, is what is right about this I'm not getting?
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait a minute. What is right about this?
There's two aspects to that whole question, really, of what's right about this that I'm not getting. So it's also, and who the heck does it belong to? So sometimes you're stuck in this whole, like, oh, yeah, it's awful, it's not changing. Like, what's right about the situation that you're not getting, and who energetically does that belong to? If you were truly being you, what would you choose? And asking, again, they're just questions. What questions can you ask that can shift the energy and allow a different possibility to show up with total ease? But yeah, what's right about this that I'm not getting has changed a lot for me. It's even down to for instance, last weekend I was supposed to have a foundation class, and a foundation class is a 4-day class that you can take with an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And I was supposed to be co-facilitating the class, and at the last minute on the Thursday, so 2 days before class, the whole energy got really weird, and the creation just seemed to stop dead in its tracks. And I'm like, what's right about this? I'm not getting. And I really had no clarity. I just knew the class wasn't going to go ahead. And we asked some questions and we changed the dates. At the weekend, my husband got sick and got taken into hospital. And it's like, okay. So that was what was right about this that I wasn't getting. If I'd been facilitating a class and he was sick, I wouldn't have had as much ease to be able to, get him into an ambulance and all the rest of the stuff that was required. So asking what's right about this that you're not getting also doesn't require an answer. It's an energetic awareness.
Right.
And oftentimes that energetic awareness that gives you the answer that you were looking for at the time shows up later. It's like hindsight is such a gift. So that's why this has shown up. And if I'd have been going, it's like, do I turn left or right? And for some reason you're pulled to the right. And later, going right might take you twice as long to get home. But then later you hear that if you turned left, there was a big crash. So what's right about it? Energetically,
Oh, my goodness, Theresa, we are at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for playing with us today and sharing your beautiful insights. And I hope you'll come back and play with us again.
I will. Thank you so much, Betsy. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And have fun exploring these questions. Bye-bye.